let's get to the final topic here. Final topic today comes to us and submitted by Zach Buckler, who writes, "Hey guys, well, the Battle of Winterfell is next Sunday. I was hoping you give the odds of several main characters dying in that episode like you did for Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. It's going to be nuts. Have a great week and keep bringing on the filthy." All right, thanks a lot for that, Zach. And yup, this is kind of what we've been waiting for. It's the Battle of Winterfell. Of course, the last episode of Game of Thrones ended with the Knight's Army has now showed up at Winterfell. Everybody's there. We had all the character build up, all that kind of stuff there. And now hell is about to be unleashed. They're about to go totally nuts on it. So Rob, what they're asking here is, we did this for Infinity War last year. We did it for Endgame. We took a bunch of characters. So what are the odds of them dying? Now, we're not talking now about Game of Thrones by the end of the season. We're just talking about the Battle of Winterfell. So Rob, I'm going to give you my predictions here of the percentage chances of 8 characters in Game of Thrones, because I only had so much room to put into a graphic, and what their chances are of them dying. Then I want to get your over and under on them. So, okay, let's get started with this. Battle of Winterfell, Deadpool. Here we go. Jon Snow. I only give Jon Snow an 11% chance of dying in the Battle of Winterfell. They seem to be more and more making the story about him in this thing. They seem to have a lot of intent of where they want this to go. So it's possible 11%, because sometimes they like to kill a character we didn't think they were going to kill. But I think it's a fairly low chance. I'm going to give Jon Snow 11%. Daenerys, I'm going to go as high as 37%. There's a lot of stuff going on dramatically here where, for dramatic purpose, her death right now could put a lot of weird things in motion. Again, I don't think it's likely that she dies, but I'm going to go one of the higher chances of anybody dying. I'm going to give her a 37% chance. Sansa Stark, we see her coming into her own, which makes me a little bit worried they might be setting her up to get her head on the block. But overall, I think they've got more plans for her as we get into the final couple of episodes, 18%. Arya, hey, look, whenever you're going into a big dramatic scenes in a movie or TV show and somebody going into it just had a really good, happy moment, that's never usually good news. Arya just got her first little bit of action in the sack, and now that's why I think she is. And she's going to be front lines in the battle. She's going to put herself in the front lines of the battle. I give her a 23% chance of getting knocked off. Jaime, they've seemed to bring... if they concluded Jaime's character arc right now, I'd be satisfied. From where he was to where he came, knighting Sir Brienne of Tarth. He's going to be out on the front lines. He's only got one arm left. I give him actually a fairly high percentage chance of dying at 37%, which brings us into Brienne of Tarth. Remember I just said, whenever somebody has a really good, happy moment and feels great, their heads might be on the chopping block. There has never been a better episode of Game of Thrones for Brienne of Tarth than the last episode. You've never seen her that happy, that overjoyed. She gets knighted, a lifelong wish and dream, all that kind of stuff. She is going to be commanding one of the legions. She's going to be on the front lines. Out of all these characters, I give her the highest percentage chance of dying, which could have a profound emotional impact on somebody like a Jaime if he survives. I'm setting Brienne at 41%. Tyrion. I said going into the season, I wouldn't be shocked if Tyrion died in the first episode, just because Game of Thrones does that to us. But again, I feel like even in these last 2 episodes, I feel like they've been setting up a greater purpose for him in the last couple of episodes. I have him at the lowest chance of dying at only 9%. And then there's everybody's favorite Wyndham Hotel spokesperson, the wizard, Tormund, saying that he would knight Brienne 10 times over. This guy is gold. He's going to be out there fighting great big moments in this one, which could be setting him up for a fall. The only reason I set him as low as 19% is this. If you're going to off him, they could have easily just offed him on the wall in the season finale of last year. They had him survive, I feel like, for a reason. So I'm going to still set it low, but somewhere in the middle there, I'm going to set him at 19%. So Rob, there we go. Those are the odds I've set. Let's start with you on this. Jon Snow, over or under 11% that Jon Snow dies in the Battle of Winterfell?
Under
11%. Okay, so I've set it pretty low, but I can see why. I'm curious to know what you think about this one. Daenerys at 37%.
I here's the thing. Daenerys is the person that has the least connection to the White Walkers and what's happening. Nothing. I mean, she wants to get to the Iron Throne. She's wanted to do all of these things, but this story is all about the Stark family. It started with the Stark family going to King's Landing. We started at Winterfell, and I have a feeling we're going to end this story at Winterfell, not in this episode. I would not be surprised, because wouldn't that be the most shocking death? And I think there's a possibility because she doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
She doesn't understand the North. She doesn't understand the people there. She doesn't understand how Sansa and Brique, Theon, when they embraced, she was like, "What's up with this? Who is this guy? What? She's out of her depth. We don't need her anymore. But more importantly, the story doesn't need her anymore." And I think that, you could play it out, but we have to think, what's going on here? And I think the Night King is probably going to take her out. I think
you're going to go over 37%?
I'm going to go over 37%.
And I thought I sat that. Okay, so you're going to take over 37% on that. And I like that analysis. All right. Sansa, I set her at 18%. Not a big number, but what do you think? An 18% over or under?
I'm over. I think Sansa Stark is going to be sitting on the Iron Throne. And I think that because, again...
Over. So you mean under.
Oh, did I say under? Yes,
yeah.
Under. I think she's going to take it all the way to the end because what happened? She was taken to King's Landing by her father in the beginning. This is her story. It's seeing how she went... I mean, talk about the ultimate Me Too movement story. She overcomes every adversity. She's playing the Game of Thrones this whole time. And I think I want to see her maybe... Her and Tyrion might wind up. They're married. Anyway, that's just a thought.
It's a good thought. It's a pretty damn good thought. All right. What about this one? Arya, 23%.
No, Arya is not going to die. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do you one better. Arya is going to kill the Night King.
Think that's the little weapon she put herself together?
She's going to kill. I don't know how she's going to do it, but that's what she's been groomed for. She's going to kill the Night King. Because what better, more exciting thing to do?
Oh, that would be great. I think she's going to take down a dragon with that spear, kind of the way the Night King took down the dragon with a spear too. Only she can't throw nearly as far as the Night King, but we'll see how that works out. All right, so you're going to take the under 23%.
Under 23.
Jaime Lannister, 37%. That's pretty high. You're going to take the over or the under on that?
I think he's going to die. But I'm going to take the under because I still believe that he has to have another final scene with Cersei in the story.
Oh, and there's a prophecy that her brother kills her, but that could be Tyrion. Okay, so you're going to take the under on 37%. This would be heartbreaking. Sir Brienne, I set her at as high as 41%. She just had a big joyful moment. She just had her lifelong wish.
Her story's
She's on the front line. What do you think?
Her story's done.
You think her story's done?
She's done. I mean... And if anything, it's going to be her and Tormund. Their entire relationship that could have been is going to take place on that battlefield, and they're both going out.
All right, so you're going to take the over 41%. Intriguing. All right, Tyrion, I set very low at 9%.
Again, his story's not over. And while, there's more to go with him. I think, look, if he died, it would be shocking, but I think it's a waste of his character. It's not the conclusion. The problem, in my mind, is the White Walkers have really nothing to do with any of the characters from King's Landing. It's all about the North and the Night's Watch. This is the end of that story. The North and the Night's Watch are going to we're going to reach a conclusion, whereas the story of King's Landing is not over yet. And
you think Tyrion's got a role to play in that.
And that's why you kill Daenerys, because then people are going to be like, oh my God, we thought she was going to win the Iron Throne. She never had a chance to win the Iron Throne.
All right, that leads us to the last person on the list, which is the aforementioned Tormund. You kind of already tipped your hand. I said it at 19% that he dies.
He's going to die, and it's going to be like two lovers. It's like Romeo and Juliet, two star-crossed lovers, never the two shall meet, or whatever, I don't know. But Romeo and Juliet did meet, so it's a bad analogy. Tormund's going to die. Brienne is going to die. Their stories are over. They've done what they were supposed to do.
All right, guys. Well, what do you think?
Let me ask you, dude.
Okay, ask me. What do you got?
The Night's King.
Yeah.
What do you think? If someone said, what is your over and under on whether the Night King is going to die? Do you think he's going to die or not?
In the Battle of Winterfell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think he's done because I think, look, you and I have talked about this before. I think that the White Walker's story is going to come to an end, so that the story of the Iron Throne, this whole show started with the story of the Iron Throne. It is the Game of Thrones. And so you've got two main conflicts that we still have to resolve in the final 4 episodes. We got the conflict with the White Walkers, and then we got Cersei. And so I believe the Night King dies. Now, I think somebody told me that the Battle of Winterfell might actually, cross over 2 episodes. It might be 2 episodes long. So whether it's 1 episode or 2, I believe within the construct of the Battle of Winterfell, I think the Night King dies. I can't back that up. I'm just fan speculating, but I think he dies. And then in the aftermath of the Battle of Winterfell, it's now the scramble of, now we got to deal with this Cersei, with the Golden Company. What do we have left? Who do we have left? Do we take it to her? Is she taking it to us? And that's going to be the last couple of episodes. So yeah, I think the Night King dies. I'm going to give it a 90%.
Me too.
90% that the Night King dies.
And I don't think it's going to cross over because, the Battle of Helm's Deep, if a battle lasts too long, you get battle fatigue. This is an 80-minute episode. I think it's going to be exhausting. I think this is going to be one of the greatest. It's going to outdo the Battle of the Bastards. It's going to be one of the greatest battles ever seen, if not the greatest battle seen on TV.
That's what they claim.
And I think it's going to be over because then the looming threat of the Golden Army and the rest of what's going on at King's Landing is enough.
And you saw the Iron Islands drama go to play out and all that kind of stuff.
Remember, there's only 3 more episodes after this episode.
I know, it's stupid. It's stupid.